And now, it's that time of the week once again. Welcome to the Departure Lounge podcast with your host, Tom Whittle, your ticket to the home of aviation podcasts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the flight.
Shit. Oh boy. So hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining us on episode 88 of the Departure Lounge podcast here on the Departure Lounge YouTube channel. And I hope you are well. You may have caught me doing that then. Yeah, I don't do that on a normal basis. Just a little bit of fun there. If you know, you know. My name is Tom Whittle, and joining me, I can already see the laughs. Joining me this evening for this episode, we are joined by loyal. Why has that happened? There we go. By loyal viewer of the show. Very delighted to have him on. A wonderful planespotter as well. It is, of course, Rob Brown. Rob Brown, thank you for joining us this evening. Good evening. How are you?
All good. Thanks for having me on. A big hello for the frozen north here.
Yeah, the old frozen north. Yes, it's quite a not as frozen south, but it is very chilly. Has been for the last few days. So yes, I'm looking forward to. To be honest, it's actually my favourite time of the year. So I'm quite happy. I'm quite happy. So I'm getting messages from what I've just done there. I hope everybody enjoyed that. Right, yes, let's get into this evening's show. We are basically halving the show, so we're doing half the show with a chat, and then half the show which fans of the game show will be pleased to know that we are doing Rate My Liveries as well. So we're doing that for the second half of the show, but the first half of the show will be purely of a chat basis. But before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. So we are on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. So if you want to follow us on there to keep up to date with everything that is happening on the show in regards to what's happening in the future, trust me, there's a lot. You can keep up to date with that over there. We also have a merch shop, which, of course, Christmas around the corner is a great little gift for those in the aviation community that might just fancy a t-shirt customized, I should say, just for them. So if you fancy that, drop us a message of what t-shirt you would like, and we'll drop it on the shop, ready for not just you, but for everyone else to buy, as you can see by the examples in front of you. Also, we are obviously continuing to campaign with the saving of Cornwall Aviation Heritage Centre. I checked before we went live, and the petition has gained 35,000 signatures now, and it's continuing to rise. So if you haven't done already, please do. For anybody that hasn't signed it, please do. It will help not just Cornwall, but also all the wonderful volunteers to keep their jobs and continue doing what they love. And lastly, if you wish to be a guest on the show, just like Rob this evening, drop us a message on any of the socials that we've just mentioned, and also being put into the chat as the evening goes on, and we'll get you on as soon as we can. And if you want to support the channel with a super chat, you can. Be most appreciated, but of course it's never obliged. So if you fancy supporting the channel, you can do it that way. Right, let's say hello to a few of the people that have joined us this evening. So we have Steve Plains, who's currently sitting in a laundrette, no doubt, hanging up football kit or washing football kit, one of the two, saying hello to his brother Martin, who's in the chat. Hello to you too. Carl Crawford says good evening, so hello to you. Owen is there as well. Owen laughing at what I did. Jack Rolls laughing at what I did as well. Jack Rolls also saying hello to you, Rob. Saying hello, Rob. Hope you're very well, mate. Great to have you on the show. What have we got here? Steve Plains once again. Greetings from the frozen north. Massive shout to Rob. Supports the show every week. There was another comment there, and I wanted to.
Is it Jim Gales?
It might be. I fear I may have missed it. I'm gutted if I have. Oh, here we go. From MaxJet TV Live Express. Tom, how did you play with your A380? Don't know. It's weird when I make noises as well, but it's very weird when I make the noise as well. Link Keeble, hello to you as well. Names in there. And Jim Gilmore, depends on what one you're on about. Depends what comment from Jim you're on about. There is one here that says, to be serious, good to see a local spotter, well, local to me anyway, on the channel. Owen asking how he can be a guest. You've been on. If you want to come on and talk about play, you're more than welcome to. Lots of people laughing at what I've mentioned. Yeah, all good. Wonderful. Right. So, Rob, I've sort of briefly mentioned who you are, but just for those that sort of may not know a little bit about yourself, do you want to tell us or inform everybody a little bit as to who you are?
Well, I'm Rob Brown, and I live in the southwest of Scotland, local to Prestwick. Last couple of years, I've been doing a bit of YouTube back and forward. Started off life infamous as an ATC cadet. You might even have a picture of that somewhere.
I do, but I won't show it just yet. I'll save that for the end.
I say that for the end. That's a good one. That's how I started out in life. Then got in a bit of planespotter and a bit of filming, and then decided, let's see what this YouTube caper does. So here we are, basically. And as I say, young Sam put me onto the channel, so I've been here almost right for the very start. So eventually bit the bullet and said, right, let's have a go at this caper and see what it's all about.
Good
so
stuff.
I do apologise, by the way, I'm Scottish, so if anybody doesn't understand what I'm saying, I do apologise.
Yeah, YouTube wouldn't allow me to put subtitles on, so...
No. Well, ask Jim Gilmore or Sam to maybe get them up in the corner with the way.
Yeah, that's what we should have done, is brought a translator on with us.
Translator, so...
a quick, not that one. Quick shout out to Jose and Carlos at the laundrette, please, Tom. Well, there you go, Steve. Quick shout out to Jose and Carlos. There we go. Yeah, that's made me chuckle. So what we're going to do, we're going to have a quick chat about your your channel, aviation, etc. We're going to play some of your videos in the background as well, so you can talk about them. We are going to start off with one which I think is quite poignant, considering it's quite recent. It is, of course, the C-17 that carried the Queen back from Scotland for the final time, of course, after her passing. Do you want to talk us through that?
Yeah, there was word that the Queen was leaving Edinburgh. So I finished work early that day, and I thought, do I go or do I not? So I eventually bit the bullet and drove up to Edinburgh. It's about 90 minutes for me. And we got there, and this is obviously what we're going to be quite a kind of sad moment to see her leave Scotland for the last time. So, but I have to be fair here, the RAF guys did a cracking job for her, and they end up, the whole entourage there, absolutely brilliant to see it. And this is one of these moments you think to yourself, this is history being made. So it was good. That was a good one to see. I really enjoyed it. I shouldn't say enjoy is maybe the wrong word, but it was definitely worth the effort to go and see it. Definitely worth the effort to go and see it. And very poignant as well, as you see the RAF guys there doing their bit for us, so putting her on the plane. And
I imagine sort of at the time, depending on sort of how much of depending on you really have to have been a royalist really, but was it like a quite emotional for you at that time to kind of like say that sort of, you're getting a bit of history here with like, in a sensitive way, of course, obviously seeing the Queen, being transported back for the funeral.
Well, I think what you find is that day at Edinburgh, there was quite a few, you wouldn't call them regular spotters as such, but there was quite a few people that turned up just to see this moment, just to see that, and I think that's what kind of hit home a wee bit. I'm no royalist by any matter of means, but at this point in time, you've got to say to yourself, well, this is the last time she's here, whether you're royal, whether you like it, don't like it, or otherwise, it's definitely worth making the effort. And on the day as well, the weather was absolutely tremendous, as you can see the heat haze there. So the Scottish weather held out, and as you see on takeoff, Edinburgh's got a great background. So as the aircraft takes off, you can see the kind of rolling hills behind it, and it's kind of postcard. It's a picture postcard, and it's really nice. You think, I think we did her proud here. I think we did her proud.
As Steve sort of says, he says, "What an honour, and to witness that history will stick with you for sure."
Yeah, definitely. That's one of the ones that's definitely up there anyway. Definitely
going to be one of those ones that will stick with you forever. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I'm not a royalist, so
no, it's one of those things as well, wasn't it? Like you didn't have to be a royalist, I suppose, to kind of, especially if it's all you've known. Like especially for myself and that. It must have been quite sort of weird, and like just how many people like you sort of recall sort of being at that spot at that time. You say people were turning up even if they weren't playing spotters and stuff. So was it like a massive crowd?
I'll not say massive crowd, but as I say, quite a few regular faces, but quite a few that you didn't that you wouldn't recognise. And as I say, even folk, I think there was a young girl there, and she come straight from school after picking up her two kids. And she comes straight from the school pickup to the airport to see this leaving. So I think that says something. I think that really says something. I say you don't have to be a royalist, but I think you can appreciate the pomp and the ceremony and the whole. It's a finality. I think it was more than anything. This is the last time that the Queen's going to be in Scotland. This is the last time we're going to see it. So. And when you see this C-17 gets off the ground that quick, the rolling start, it's 20 seconds to get up into the air. So, just spectacular, just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Jack Roll says, well shot and beautifully edited. So a lot of people probably, would like to ask the question about technology and stuff. What equipment do you use?
I'm using Cyberlink as my video editor. I might even have my camcorder about here. Someone just a second, I'll have a look and I'll show you that in a minute.
That's right.
It's here somewhere.
Whilst he does that, we're going to just enjoy. I'm going to put the sound on as well. And there she goes.
There she goes. Right, so I've got two cameras here. I'll show you what I'm using. This was the first camera. This is a Panasonic HC V380. This camera, I got this for Christmas one year, and I'll tell you what a camera. This camera is about 150, 200 quid on Amazon just now. I'm not kidding. You can see the dark side of the moon with this thing. It's absolutely brilliant for the money. That's what I started using.
It's quite interesting because I've got the 580 model.
I'll tell you,
it's an absolute treat. Yeah, it works wonders.
It's absolutely brilliant. And then a few years ago, Santa was good to me and he upgraded me onto this guy here. This is the Sony AX53. What a beast this is as well. It's 4K and stuff like that, and tremendous. Some of the features on it are absolutely cracking. Absolutely brilliant. Got a tripod as well. It's a Viltrox tripod I think I use as well. So, but the stabilisation on that Sony camera, it's absolutely tremendous. You could almost go freehand. It's that good. All the time, you could almost go without a tripod.
You must have sort of experienced some. I mean, going onto your channel just to pick some videos that we were watching. You have seen some quite interesting aircraft come to whether it's Prestwick or Edinburgh and things like that. Do you have any that sort of stick to mind? Obviously, apart from what we've just seen, and of course another one which we'll show later on that I think everybody would be quite happy to see again. Is there any sort of aircraft that sort of stick to your mind that are absolute, like, they're etched in the memory forever?
It was really Hercules. Quite recently, I put it up on the channel. That was a good one. Don't see many of them at all. If you go back to the COP26 last year, there's aircraft in there that you'll never ever see again on UK shores ever. Things like the Ecuadorian and things like that. The government aircraft, some of these South American countries, you're never ever likely to see them again. The Colombian Air Force 767, which is almost like the American KC-46, but it's got a bit of colour about it. It's really, really nice. Now, the only place you might see that at something like Riyadh. That's maybe the only place you might see that, but it's definitely a rare beast as well, and it's really, really good. It's really, really good. The KC-46, that's my unicorn. That's the one I still haven't managed to get yet. That's still...
one of those frustrating ones.
And we've had plenty of them too. There was one into this morning, I left this morning, as I say, and I missed it. So
yeah, well, that's a bugger. Yeah, it's a bugger.
Just need to be patient in this game. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. A quick hello to our resident 330 pilot, Transatlantic Alison, saying hi everybody. Apologies for my tardiness. No apologies needed at all. Thank you for joining us as always. Sort of closer to home this time, I believe she's in. Nowhere exotic today. So you mentioned the Turkish Hercules, which you one of those ones that's quite a rare sort of catch. We've got the video, and I think if I was to bring the video up, a lot of people were like, check that sky out, because that is quite impressive. Like that sky right there, that is quite impressive.
And if you forward it on that a little bit to once it touches down and it comes off at the taxiway, you get shadows on the aircraft, and it's.
I mean, that is that is like spot on in terms of silhouette, sort of.
There's something that's Top Gun in it.
Just stunning. So how did you know about this one coming in? Did you get told about it, or was it one of those ones?
This one was on. I think this was on Fighter Controller, one of these kind of websites. A few of the guys had posted it was due. So there's plenty of Facebook groups and stuff in there as well, and all that sort of kind of information does get posted. It's a case of ploughing through it sometimes, and then kind of. And this was running late. This ran about an hour late. This, I don't think, if it arrived on the time it was due, I don't think it would be as good. It was only because it was an hour or so late. It was due about 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, and that's closer to 10. And I think that's in the summertime sometime. I can't remember the date of that one. And it was good because just the sun setting and the orange and the reds and the yellows and just tremendous, absolutely brilliant. As you'll see, just as it turns here, the sun changes a little bit and it casts a great shadow on this. This is probably one of my favourite videos myself, personally. What I like, so.
Like I say, it's one of those ones that you're not really going to see unless you go to like air shows and stuff. So I have it come to,
there you go. That's
your local airports and stuff. It's quite a treat.
That aircraft there, that's a 1963 Hercules.
Here come the shadows. Yeah, lots of people loving this. Carl Crawford says, wow, beautiful. Jack Roll says the picturesque, that's the guy. Do love a good sunset shot, must admit.
And you can't buy that sort of sunset. That's just one of these. You're either there or you're not. It's a bit of luck behind it.
Right place, right time. Absolutely.
Yep.
Jim Gemmell. The joys of the sun setting behind Aaron, yep.
Aaron's an island a bit. It's about 15 miles off the coast.
Those blades lit up as well. Yeah, fantastic. Sound Jose Taylor Ackroyd, a nice sunset arrival.
I say that Hercules, 60 years old.
Crazy, isn't it?
Yep, still going yet.
Wayne Hartshorn was mentioning about the 787, Norwegian 787s parked up in the background. They've been there for a while, haven't they?
Yep. It's probably, Jim Gemmell might be the man to tell you, but it's probably about 3 or 4 years, possibly. There's one of them even came straight from Boeing in Seattle. Never carried a passenger, never did anything. It came straight from Boeing, straight to Presic. They ripped the engines off it, packed it up. Hasn't moved since, and then obviously with 2 years odd of COVID as well, on top of that as well. But just recently, I think young Sam caught one. They put the engines back on it, and it's now gone to Shannon. And I think that'll probably end up going to somewhere like Norse. Although I did hear someone saying it's going to Air Europa on lease, I think it is.
Yeah, so it's going to be under the Norse register, but it's also going to. I think it'll probably get painted up in Air Europa colours.
Yep.
And it is on lease to them at the moment. They've got another one out there as well. But yeah, there's I think as part of the Norse fleet, there's 2 787-8s at the minute, and both of those are going. Well, one is at Air Europa, and the other one, like you said, is going to go there shortly as well.
And the Norwegian ones are brilliant as well. There's a local connection to one of those as well. There's a Robert Burns tale. Anyone knows their poetry or writers or anything like that. Robert Burns was born just not that far from Prestwick Airport. So to see, I've seen his 787 at Prestwick twice. There's a crosswind landing of that one actually. It's pretty good as well. But to see Robert Burns' tale, obviously the local connection with Prestwick and Ayrshire, that was a good one as well. Enjoyed that one. Excuse me.
Transatlantic, even I can get my words mixed up. Transatlantic Allison says, I believe that some of the Norwegian ones are getting scrapped due to sitting too long. Wonder if it's them.
Yes, as far as I know, don't quote me on this, but there is rumours that they will break them up. There's 2 of them, I think, have been broken up. And as I say, the saltware at Prestwick probably has not done them any good. I know the 787 is partially plastic and composites and all that sort of stuff, but I don't think sitting in open air in a kind of relatively wet and wild Prestwick has done them much good.
Well, yeah, there's that, and obviously, like I say, it's it's almost like leaving your car, not driving your car for so long as well. It's then becomes sort of unroadworthy, and the aircraft sat there for so long. I imagine the cost to kind of bring them back to airworthiness as well, especially for Norwegian, who are only just starting up again with like short haul stuff. It's it's not going to be cost effective for them. So it's a shame, really, because I think it is quite a waste, really. In
the sense of the 787, I do quite like seeing the 787, especially, and the Norwegian colours are actually quite nice as well. And they were quite interesting. The fact, all the famous people in the tails. So it was something a wee bit. It was always good for that. It was always something going to be different. What one we're getting this time? As you get Freddie Mercury, and there was Robert Burns, and I think there were a few other kind of big writers and stuff like that as well. Oscar Wilde, I think, was one of them as well. So
yeah, there was a couple that I saw on the last visit I did to Kemble, because there was a whole load of 737s parked up, not to be scrapped. They were just there for storage purposes, and they were sitting right next to the fence. You got a really good view of I think it was one to do with like the technology side of things. There's a special livery one where it's got all this writing onto what you can do while you're on a plane, sort of thing, like watching cute cat videos and things like that, plastering like this sentences over the plane, which I thought was quite cool. And then special like tales as well. I think Peter Baum, I think his name was. It was an interesting one. An architect, I think it was. Don't quite know without actually looking at the video again. So yeah, so it's. I imagine the 787 just didn't work for them. That's why they've sort of shipped them off to. Or I know Norse is the long haul version, but yeah.
I think this engine problem with the 787 really killed them. As I say, because how can you have an aircraft coming straight from Boeing straight to Presic for an engine change before it even gets into service? Never carried a paying passenger. I don't know who would pay for that. I don't know if it's Boeing or it's Rolls Royce or somebody or other. I don't know, but I can see why people know Norwegian. can see why. I think Virgin had much the same problems at Heathrow as well. I think there was quite a few Virgins at Heathrow at one time as well.
There was, all
similar
stripped of their engines. Yeah,
the engines ripped off them, and it's fine if there's a problem. It's if Rolls-Royce can't supply the parts to fix the problem, that's when it really starts to hurt. And as I say, those jets have let Prestwick 3-4 years, some of them, and it's just it's frustrating at times. It is seeing these perfectly good aircraft going to waste.
Last week's guest, Planespotting Ringway, is in the chat. Hello to you. Thank you for joining us this evening. It'd be interesting to see what happens with them and whether the rumor is true that they will scrap, and whether the one that hasn't carried passengers is one to go as well. Now I've got 2 more videos that we've picked out before we sort of go into a little bit more chat about the your channel and aviation as a whole. Before we then go on to doing the ratings and deliveries. One that I think everybody would kind of enjoy as a little throwback is of course the Antonov AN225, which came into Prestwick back in 2020. For those that will have seen it, I'm not one of them. I imagine this is quite like you say, the behemoth of the skies. Like, this must have been quite astonishing to witness.
This is cracking. This is absolutely brilliant, and I've never seen Prestwick as busy. I'll have to run through the internet and I'll tell you a bit about that in a minute.
Yeah, I think Jim Gunn was kind of echoing that. It says it was absolute chaos down there that day.
Yep. Cars stopping in the middle of the road, and it's crazy.
I imagine you would do, especially for this, for an airplane like this.
Yep.
Of course, this is the most viewed. I think it's not. It's up there though. I think.
It's up there.
Yeah, it's up there as one of the most viewed videos on your channel. To see it up close, what was it like to see it up close?
Absolutely. Just the buzz about this thing is just tremendous. As I say, Jim said there, it's chaos. They reckon between 5,000 and 7,000 people that day.
Wow.
And this is just at the time COVID was starting to kind of, so obviously people were a bit, but that day it was absolutely rammed. You couldn't get a spot anywhere around the perimeter of the airport. As I say, it got to the point where cars were just stopping in the middle of the road, and just when the aircraft's on approach there, it crosses a main road, junction A77, and that's a 2-lane carriageway road, so it's a busy road, it's a busy arterial route. There's people just stopping, jumping up and bumping up in the central reservation and just and I remember going back to the car. Once it departed, we waited around half an hour, 40 minutes, thinking we'll take our time walking back to the car. And the traffic took us an hour to go home that night. And as I say, we're about 12 miles for Prestwick, so usually I'm doing about 10, 15 minutes or thereabouts. But an hour to get through the traffic. It was almost like almost the days of the air show, when the air show was at Prestwick.
Yeah. Gosh, she certainly did draw the crowd when she was in town.
Definitely. And it's something else. The aircraft itself is it's just something else. It's brilliant. There's something about it, and it's, as I say, did the usual Antonov thing as well. It sits on the runway for about 4 or 5 minutes, warming up the engines and usual sort of stuff like that. And
they sit there to power the engines up to full power to actually get the aircraft running, didn't they?
Yep, it must. I don't know if it's something to do with oil and engines or something like that, to get oil pressure through the engines or something like that. But
I think it's they want them. I think they run them at like 3-4 minutes to get the engines to full power, so that it's it'll then be able to kind of have enough power to basically get off the ground, sort of thing. So all it then has to do is literally do its run down the runway.
Rumours on the day as well that it had actually broken once it arrived at Prestwick. As I say, the next thing we see one of these spec lifties kind of high ab things that go up and down, and you see the guys with the engine cowling open and they're in about the engine, and the kind of rumour is, it's broken, it's not going. So to eventually hang about and wait to see it going was brilliant. I think the takeoff is actually better than the landing, I think.
Is the takeoff in this video?
Yep.
It is. Okay.
Yep. Keep it going towards the end. Yep, definitely.
So I will play the sound for that. Very quickly, Jack Rolls with a very, very nice super chat. Thank you very much. Love the channel, the content, Tom and Rob, absolute legends. And Tom for all the help this year. Keep up the fantastic work. We'll pause with everything now, just while we listen to the noise or the rest of the video here of the Anstorm 225 taking off. Even better with 747 and forward. Of course, you've got all that smoke coming out the back end of the engines as well.
Just a quick point there, just the Cargo Lux crew, they were absolutely brilliant on that day as well. They actually spoke to air traffic control and asked them if they wanted to hold a bit shorter than they would usually. And obviously they knew there was a lot of people along the fence line trying to get photographs of it and stuff. So the Cargo Lux 747 held back on that day. So big shout out to them. They were absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, hats off to them. Yeah, definitely hats off to them. Because, like I say, most crews would have just carried on and stuff. But like to hold back for the fact that they were aware that there would have been people wanting to take pictures and stuff. Yeah, I think fair play to them.
And the Russian stuff is just tremendous. The AN124, the 225, the IL-76, all that kind of stuff. The Russian stuff is really, it's different for Western. You just know it's different, and it's brilliant. It really is. They're really smart. Actually, they're worth the effort to go out and see. Obviously, the whole Russian-Ukraine thing right now, we might not see as much of it, but so definitely worth going to see. On an 124 or the IL-76 or even an AN12. An AN12, that's some of these AN12s. Oh, they're ancient, but they're still going yet and they're still flying. It's absolutely brilliant.
Jack Rolls saying Greta Thunberg would have had a fit that day.
You haven't seen an AN12 then?
No.
AN12 or they're known as the coal burners, so
they're not called vodka burners for a reason.
Yep.
Just missed that then. There we go. Transatlantic Allison says some dirty paraffin burners on that.
Yep, definitely.
Carl Crawford enjoyed that as well. He said, wow. Jack Roll's loving the sound of that. So to MaxJet TV Live Express, whose name hasn't got longer since last week. Planespotting Ringway says faded into the 747. It certainly did.
A few cracking pictures of that were kicking around on Facebook after it and things like that.
Yeah, I'll bet. Yeah, I'll bet. One more video, which we'll bring up, is another mammoth aircraft. More of the sort of the military kind this time. Of course, the mighty C5 Super Galaxy. Unfortunately, not with the original engines, since they've had to re-engine them. If you've ever heard the C5 with the original engines, it's absolutely like, yeah, it's a noise that you'll never forget. It's a proper scream, like it's a massive scream. It's fantastic, really, really good stuff. But since they've re-engined them, it's a shame. It's kind of got rid of it.
Sounds like sing a sewing machine there.
Yeah. Dealt with many in my job, but yeah, never actually heard a sing a sewing machine. But yeah, talk about this one here. What was the reason behind this C5 sort of being there in the first place?
I think it was passing through en route to the Middle East, but this was a Friday afternoon. This one, and the weather was absolutely terrible, and I kind of swayed whether to actually go down to see this or not. But I thought I'll go down and get it going out. And you'll see the spray later on takeoff. The spray is absolutely brilliant. Just the amount of spray. And I remember when I posted this, there was a few guys on the channel. They were comparing things like Formula One tyres and things like that. They were saying this thing displaces so much water and stuff like that. So, but I came home on the Friday night, posted this up on YouTube, and then the next thing I know, the viewing on this particular video starts to go skywards. I'm going, where's this going? Where's this coming from? And what had actually happened is the Aviationist channel on YouTube had picked it up. And I think they've got somewhat 1 million subscribers or 1 million followers on Facebook and Twitter and all these kind of different places. The next thing I know, this video's hitting 50, 60, 70, 100,000 views. And I think it's now sitting about 150,000 views or thereabouts. This is my best video to date. So, and this picked me up a few subscribers as well. So for a young, as I say, I hadn't long started YouTube at this point, so it was a good boost, this one, to kind of get things moving and go in the right direction anyway. So
it's a nice little segue into if you haven't subscribed to Rob Brown, do so via looking him up on YouTube as Rob Brown Plane Spotting. Very good content. I was surprised that I hadn't subscribed actually, but I have now. But yeah, very, very good content, especially of some very rare aircraft. There are some DC-8 action on there. There's all sorts of aircraft. If you want to
German Tornado.
Yeah, and Jim will do that. Yeah.
Tornado.
And before we play this one, Alison with a nice little comment there to make us all jealous. I've been a passenger of one of those. Was a surreal experience. Not jealous in the slightest. But let's play the video and let's listen to the C5 in all its glory. Trust Ryanair to get in the way.
3PR.
Check it out. Look at it. No, it was raining and you were probably in two minds about going for it. I bet you're glad you did.
I did. That was a good one. And the C5, it's a tremendous aircraft. That's something else. As you see, I don't know if you saw in the video, but you see the wheels turning as it draws it back in after tracking the undercarriage. Something like 28 wheels on that main undercarriage. You see it on the ground as well. I've just posted a video the other day actually of it. And there's actually a spotter stands just behind the cockpit when it's on the deck. He obviously has a headset and he must talk to the aircraft captain or whoever's taxiing the aircraft, as I say, to try and spot. Because these things are absolutely massive and it's
yeah.
It's as good as a 225. I think they're really, really good. They're really good. And
yeah, it's bold claim that, but yeah, very good. Yeah. I mean, I've seen only like videos and stuff, so I'd like to be able to see one, but I only watched really like the older. Let's say the C5 with the original engine, which is just.
Did you not get them down when Air Force One was down in your neck of the woods?
What's that?
Did you not get a C5 when Air Force
No,
One
we
came?
got C-17s down our way.
17s, right? Okay.
Yeah, there were rumours that C5 was supposed to come in, but I think they
Yeah.
eventually they sent. Well, yeah, funny enough, they sent a C-17 which came in just as I left, and that
Yeah.
was the day that I got severely burnt. From
Because
the
usually
sun.
that's what can follows. That's what. Well, when we had Trump back in 2018, it was 2 C5s, and they brought the things like the Beast and the Marine One and things like that, and even fuel tankers and even the steps. They bring their own steps. The Americans, typical Americans, but
Yeah, I don't think Biden needed that much. That's probably why they set up for the C-17. But
so,
Link Evil with a nice comment to you saying great filming, Rob.
Thank you very much.
Which you can see plenty of it on his channel.
See, I think it was Jack was asking about a casa. I think it was as well.
He certainly was. I know exactly why. I know exactly why he's asking you this.
Was that Czech Air Force when he saw at Bournemouth? I saw. Was that right?
Polish, yes.
Polish.
Yeah, Jack has sent me a picture to show because he's been begging me to show him to show the picture off. So I will do that. I will do that at the end.
I have seen one of these. I'm sure it was an Irish Air. I think the Irish Air Corps one. We've had it. It's a kind of weird colour. It's a kind of blue, kind of green type colour. It's really nice to see as well. And I say you don't really see the Irish Air Corps that often.
No,
they've got a few of these. DC-12s, I think, as well.
Yeah, best place to see the casas are, funnily enough, at Fairford. There's a fair few that go into Riat and things like that for the air show. So, probably the best place you'll catch them. I think there was when I went for departures. I think we had Spanish, we had Finnish, I think, and we had the Polish. There's quite a few that went there. So definitely worth going to that. Going to Fairford just purely to catch them if that's what you wanted. But I will show Jack's picture off at the end.
I think the Americans are even using these for kind of special forces and kind of intelligence type stuff as well. These casas, I think they've got one up.
Yeah, I think someone will probably say it in the chat. No, that's fine. So in terms of your YouTube channel, sort of what, I mean, we all know that you spot from airports around Scotland, like Edinburgh, Glasgow, etc. What sort of plans do you have going forward then? What airports do you plan on or hope to plan on visiting sort of in the future, if not by the end of the year, obviously going into 2023?
Pretty reserved until the end of the year, I think. I did Blackpool this year. It was really good, actually. The weather at Blackpool this year was tremendous, absolutely brilliant. But in the new year, I've got a week up at RAF Lossiemouth. So nice. I think that'll be one. We'll be doing a couple of days up at RAF Lossiemouth. Other than that, I've not made too much plans. Obviously, I'd like to get back to Edinburgh as well. Edinburgh's really, really good. If anybody's ever up in Scotland, Edinburgh and Presic definitely are two places to go with good viewpoints. Personally, I'm not so keen in Glasgow, although Glasgow has got some really nice traffic. It's busy. If you're looking for the regular stuff, Glasgow's a place to go. Even last time I was at Edinburgh, Edinburgh's starting to pick up again as well. Edinburgh's got some really nice bits and bobs in there as well, and they pick up a nice few biz jets and stuff like that as well, if that's your thing. So, and the views at Edinburgh and Presic, they've got a kind of nice wee mound where you're able to get above the fence line without too much hassle. So it's kind of fairly uninterrupted. Good views. Uninterrupted views.
It's that kind of evening. I've been doing it all day where I've just been stuttering over my words and that. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. So if you had to recommend one or the other, and I'm going to put you on the spot here to say myself, who's never been to Scotland for plane spotting, or for anybody else that might be thinking, going to Scotland, just looking to see if I can get near an airport. And you had to pick one, not a I don't know, or both are fine. One, which one would it
be? Depends what you're after. If you're after regularity, I would say Edinburgh. If you're looking for rarity or something a bit different, definitely Presic. But it's very much it's got to be targeted at right place, right time at Presic. It's no like Glasgow or Heathrow or Manchester. It's no like a bus service where there's aircraft coming and going all day. You've got to be there at the right time, the right place. Where Edinburgh is a wee bit more you could turn up on the day and just see what happens. And as I say, you always get British Airways and EasyJet and stuff like that. So regularity for Edinburgh, rarity, Prestwick, I would say. It all depends on your point of view and what you're after.
Fantastic. Wonderful. Right. Shall we go into the rating of the liveries that you've picked?
A good one.
Awesome. It's now time for Savage Sunday. Of course, it's the little section that we're doing now that we normally do for a full show, where we play Rate My Liveries, and we're doing half of them this time because obviously we're not doing a full show. So we've got 5 liveries that Rob has picked for us on this half a Savage Sunday sort of thing. And we're going to rate them. If you don't know how it works, here we go. We will bring up a picture of one of the liveries that Rob has picked, and we will talk about it, what we like about it, etc. And then it's over to you guys to give it a rating out of 10. If you're like Jack Rolls, of course, where you pick your favorite and then rate it a 2 out of 10, then all well and good. You probably shouldn't have picked it. But at the same time, it's all a bit of fun. But we know that it can be a tough crowd at times as well. So we're going to see just how tough the crowd is this evening as we go into sort of the last half of the show. So first one, of course, it would start off with this one because it's been into Prestwick a few times, I'd say. It is, of course, and I know Ian Hartley, if he's watching, would enjoy this one too. Can't beat a Cargo Lux livery, and that's what we've got for you right now. It's the, I believe, is it called the Cutaway? It's Cutaway livery, isn't it?
Yeah, this is a Cutaway livery. Yep.
Tell us why you picked.
This one celebrates 45 years of Cargo Lux. They're now going to 50 years now. So this, let's say, it's designed by a Belgian designer, I think it was, to kind of commemorate everything that Cargo Lux carry. At the time when it was new, like this photograph's pretty good actually. It was absolutely brilliant. Just the whole idea and the way it was done. If you see it, you might not appreciate it in a photograph, but when you see it up close, how it's been done is absolutely brilliant. As I say, demonstrates everything that Cargo Lux carry. It's just nowadays, unfortunately, this aircraft I think was delivered in 2015. I think it was. So it's now starting to show its age and the paintwork is starting to fade. And a bit of a useless fact for you, this particular aircraft actually ripped up the runway at Prestwick just about this time last year, maybe. So, yeah, this is a favourite one at Prestwick, this one.
There you go. It is a nice livery. It's very different to...
Especially some people might not like it because it is quite busy, but if you actually look at the individual elements on it, as I say, there's a car and there's a skidoo and I think there's some sort of birds on there as well, and there's a giraffe and stuff like that. It's really good how it's done, actually. Really is really good.
It's down to I suppose like preference and personal taste sort of thing. But yeah, we'll see how the crowd rate it. There we go. Lots of people coming in with ratings already. Jim Gemmell says that there is a video of that plane ripping up the runway.
I was there that day, it ripped up the runway, but I bloody missed it.
I'd like to see that video, actually. I'm sure I'll find it at some stage.
Missed it.
Jack Rolls saying that it's absolutely gorgeous and rare 747. It's not quite rare 747. I mean, they are quite regular into Prestwick and stuff like that. So what's not to love about the cutaway bit looks like a cutaway, but what's not to love but the cutaway bit looks like a McDonald's drawing. I don't know what McDonald's you've been going to, but
not everybody's taste now. And as I say, it's starting to show its age now. It really is starting to show its age. The last time I saw it, it was
tough crowd.
Yeah, definitely.
Tough crowd. It's only half a show for crying out loud. Yeah. I don't know.
That was me morning.
Jim Gemmell says a real stagecoach, not the recent, not a rent-a-wreck bus. Okay. Transatlantic Allison saying it's different, not bad, but it's not as good as the Mask one.
I like the Mask one, have to be honest, but this I kind of get an affinity towards the Cutaway. That was the kind of first one that really kind of started out the Cargo Lux special liveries. So I think it'll go. I think this one will go. Probably depends when it goes in for its major maintenance, which it must be due there or thereabouts next year or so, perhaps maybe. So I think this one is going to go. I think once it's in for repaint, I don't think they'll repaint it in the same sort of. I think it'll go back to standard Cargo Lux colours, I would think.
He is watching. Ian Hartley, hello to you. Says, love the cutaway, one of their best ones.
Therefore.
So I think I already know what he would give it out of 10. He'd probably give it a 10. I had to reread this as you were saying that then. Spot the obvious. That livery is phenomenal. And I've seen the Cargo Lux 747 go over my house from Huntsville to Luxembourg. I mean, unless you've got like zooming in eyes and things like that, it's a great shout. But yes, thank you for that. And of course, someone had to do it. Jose with a 747 out of 747. Seen that at Presswick. Ratings wise, Rob, out of 10. What is your rating? And if you're going to give it a 2, I will take you off screen right now.
I would have given this a 10, but because it is a bit fading, a bit shabby looking nowadays, I'm going to dock it a point and say a good 9.
A 9 out of 10. It's a solid start.
Yeah.
Very, very solid start. We have got in the chat, don't even need to bring up what Max has done. He's always given 10s, like they're going out of fashion. Carl Crawford, though, also gives it 10 out of 10. Wayne Hartshawn gives it a 4. Looks like an American nursery was given a pack of crayons and told to draw a design. Oh, it's tough. It's a tough crowd. Let's get rid of that. I don't know why I'm getting that. Michael Painter, 3 out of 10. Ruined a fine 747. It's getting worse because Lynn Keeble says not keen, 5 out of 10. Jack Rolls not going for his trademark 2. He's gone double that. He's gone 4. Transatlantic Allison, however, gives it a 7 out of 10. Steve Plains gives it Mexico flag out of Mexico flag. If you know, you know. Ian Hartley actually not rating at the moment, but he says, I'm lurking tonight. Nice to finally hear Rob's voice. I hope he has a nice Scottish chutney recommendation with the festive season now upon us.
That's him getting his payback, in it.
It is. Maybe we'll save the chutney to the end as well.
Yeah, we'll need to think about that
how the show goes. We just talk about chutneys and food and all sorts. We'll save it to the end. He actually gives it a 9 out of 10. He did give his rating 9 out of 10 as well. So he believes, follows what you've given as well. Wonderful. Right. The next one is quite an interesting one, and one that I didn't actually think would be picked probably ever. But it is the New England Patriots and their Boeing 767-300. I want to say it's owned by, you say it was owned by Eastern?
I think it's Eastern Airlines that are leasing it at the minute, yep.
Yes. But obviously this is the plane to carry the New England Patriots, who are a American football team. And that's football as in throwing, not, soccer.
American football.
Yes. An interesting choice. What made you pick this one?
Well, I saw this one at Edinburgh recently. And usually, if you show me that photograph, I would have said, I'm not too keen on that. But once you've actually seen it up close, and it's cracking. It's absolutely brilliant. It looks the part. It really is really smart. It really is. I think you appreciate it more once you see it rather than just in a photograph. I think you have to see it. Definitely have to see it. And I said there's a video on YouTube of this as well, leaving Edinburgh, and it's just, again, brilliant.
Yeah, it's an interesting choice. I don't actually think we've had a sort of, when we've done a rating of the livery show, I don't think we've ever had a sports team livery. So I think this is literally the first one.
Yeah. And I think that's the Super Bowl on the tail. I think that's the amount of Super Bowls they've won as well.
Super Bowl. Yeah, Super Bowl. As Transatlantic Allison puts it, it's NFL for rugby for wimps. Yeah, I think it's because it's a sports one. We'll talk more sports at the end as well, seeing as the World Cup kicked off today. Yeah, like I said, it's very interesting. I mean, I'm not a follower of the NFL, but it as Ian puts it, is very American. It does show off New England Patriots. Whether that's their colours or not, I don't know, because like I said, I'm not a fan of American football. But yeah, it's an interesting choice, and it's sort of
it's very blingy. It is very blingy. It's very American. It's very brash. It's just, I mean, thinking American, this is probably the airplane you would pick.
It's got colour. That's kind of the main thing as well.
It's flamboyance about it, definitely.
Interesting choice. I wonder if we get any more in the future. Let's have a look then and see what people have put, just while you have a quick think about what you'll give it out of 10. Jack Rolls, obviously a little bit of payback on you, because you're the one to suggest it normally. Pineapple on pizza livery, I'm afraid. So that's going to be brought up at some point. No doubt. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd says, I remember that came to Edinburgh Airport in the summer when I was in England. All the good movements come to Scotland when I'm in England. Might be a reason for that. Just saying. Steve Plains, I hate it. My photo came second to that on an Instagram competition, and I've never been able to see it since without raging. If you're getting beat by New England Patriots livery, then yeah, that's that. Oh dear. Sorry, Steve. We didn't mean to set you off. That's Rob's fault. Ian Hartley, it's very American, but not my cup of tea. That's fair enough. Tian Hartley is there as well. Hello to you. Brand new YouTube vloggers as well. Always causing a good giggle. Solid 3 out of 10. No hate, just don't like the colours. She's not a fan of the red or blue. Should probably take this down then. Lots of people giving their ratings, so we'll have a look in a second. Rob, out of 10 for you on the New England Patriots livery.
I'm going to give this a solid 7. Would have been a 6, but because I've seen it and I think it looks better in the real life, gets a bonus point, I think, for a 7. So
it's not a 2, so that's kind of the main.
Not a 2, definitely not a 2.
It's not a 2. No. Let's have a look and see what other people have put and whether people agree with you. Jack Rolls, trademark, 2 out of 10. Soft touch livery, that for me is 2. Soft touch livery, that for me is a 2. I don't know whether he's like a backhanded compliment to himself with a soft touch livery. That sounds like it's a nice livery, but then he's given it 2 out of 10 in trademark Jack Rolls style. So fair enough. Wayne Hartshawn, it looks like an American candy wrapper, 3 out of 10. Allison, spoiled at 767. It's not gone down well. We're only 2 liveries in, and it's not gone down well. Steve Plains, because he's very, very bitter about the competition that he lost. Minus 10 out of 10 because I'm bitter.
Get some cider in for him.
Yeah, get some cider. Michael Painter, 6 out of 10. Like everyone says, very American. Lynn Keeble down the middle with a 5. Carl Crawford with a 5 as well, saying it needs some silver.
Yes, I could see that.
It could work. Yeah, it could work. Look a bit like Flying Tigers then, I think, if it did. For those that remember Flying Tigers, they were an old American cargo and passenger.
Used to come into press like Jim Gemmell. Remember when your man asked him, I think they were
I want to say just cargo, I think. I just want to say just cargo. Flying Tiger Lines, they were called. Look them up, you'll see what I mean. David Bone, only a I love these ratings. Only a 3rd of October for me, so that's 3 out of 10. Alison, 4 out of 10. 5 out of 10 from MaxJet TV Live Express, whose name doesn't get longer every week anymore, for the cloud. Is there a cloud in that picture? No cloud. Right. Fair enough. Must be another picture. Keep going. Ian with a 4. Jim Gemmell with a 6. There we go. Jim Gemmell. I remember the Flying Tigers and do remember them at Prestwick.
Yep.
Ian Hartley saying that it looks like a American presidential campaign bus. Jack Rolls obviously getting too excited, calling Ian Brian. He's corrected himself. And Allison says, reminds me of Trump's aircraft. Probably takes it down in a lot of value for a lot of people. Okay, let's hopefully we can. I don't know if it's going to make up for this or not. That's the problem.
Lost.
Yeah, I mean, there's your last one. I thought that would go a little bit higher, despite the fact it's American football. But we're going to go into territory which I suppose we have to. It is Aviastar.
Yep.
From Russia. Again, another livery that I thought wouldn't be picked, but it is. And the fact that it's orange gets top marks from me. But yeah, tell us why you picked Aviastar.
As you say, the orange and grey, it works. When you see it, it does work. But the reason I picked this was because they fly the Tupolev 204, again, which is another unicorn. There was actually had one of these at Prestwick, and it was meant to be the 204, so that's why we went down. But I don't know how disappointed you can be in getting a 757. So when you see
Love
it,
a good 757.
yeah, I think this livery, it just suits the 757, and it's absolutely, it's really nice. Even on that day, it was really grey and kind of yucky. The weather wasn't that good, and this still kind of, it was quite punchy, and the video turned out pretty good with that one as well. And it's a rare beast, especially that even before the whole Ukraine-Russia thing. You didn't see these in the UK that often. Very rare. I think they ran from Leipzig to Moscow, I think, at one time, so they were kind of more common in Europe. And I say the 204 was always the kind of main one, but to see this 757 in these colours, I think it is nice. It is really, again, maybe another one you have to see up close before you can maybe fully appreciate it, but that photograph's pretty good, to be fair. It does work. It does work.
Is it the 757 or is it the 204? I'll let you decide. Yeah, it's an interesting. Like I said, some of your choices have been very interesting. And again, a couple here that we've not actually had before, including this one. So it is it's an interesting choice. Like I said, it's orange, so it gets good marks from me at least. While you have a think, I've seen comments already, so I'm going to go through them. You know what's coming. Alison says, "Oh my eyes." She doesn't have much luck when she tunes into one of these. She does get on the bad end of liveries when they do. Yeah, they are proper eye stingers. Sorry, Alison. Ian Hartley says, "Is it a cargo plane?" It certainly is. Jack Rolls says, "Still lawnmowers springs to mind." I don't know that one. Let me quickly Google search that. Hold on. You know what? I can see it. If you Google it, you'll be able to see it. That's quite, yeah. I mean, what Jack knows about lawnmowers, I'll never know. But it does actually, yeah, it does resemble that. It's a good shout. It's obviously Googled lawnmowers just to try and get an idea for it. The only thing that Jack knows that's still is water. Oh dear. Let's go on with it. David Bones says, "Very Branifish." I can see. I can sort of see Braniff. I can't stop seeing that bloody lawnmower now that I've googled it. Wayne Hart-Shawn says, "God, it's awful. Like an all right sunny delight to bottle." Sunny Delight bottle exploded. Oh, Sunny D. God, who remembers them? Alison saying, "Looks like it's sat and taxied through an orange paint puddle." Jim Gemmell, orange and grey, a flying traffic cone. Ian Hartley, I just see a bad Iberia ripoff. Maybe not Iberia. I mean, I don't know who you'd compare it to, but I wouldn't say Iberia.
Controversial.
Just lots of people giving ratings, so we'll go into that in a minute. Cole Crawford says one way to make a 757 look like an EasyJet. Don't need to fantasize about that because they used to lease a few from Air Finland. So if you want to have a look what a 757 looks like in an EasyJet livery, you can actually have a look on Google or any sort of photograph websites because it actually happened. Doesn't look too bad, actually. Right, your rating out of 10 for the Aviastar livery.
Because it's 7.5, so I'm going to give it a 6, that one.
6 out of 10. It's still not a 2, so it's fine.
Yep.
It's still not a 2. Right. It's not gone down well with other people. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd gives it a 4 out of 10. Michael Painter gives this terrible 2 out of 10. Lynn Keeble, 3 out of 10. MaxJet TV Live Express, whose name doesn't get shorter every week, like it used to, gives it a solid 6th of February. Wayne Hartshorn says it's awful. It looks like a flying bottle of Sunny Delight, 2 out of 10. And then Carl Crawford, 2 out of 10. Tian Hartley gives it a 9 out of 10. Looks sweet. That's the only highest one I think that's on there. I think it's even higher than what you gave it.
Safe to say that was a popular one then.
Jack Rolls gives it a 5 out of 10 for it being a 757. Transatlantic Allison, 4 out of 10, and only gets an extra point because it's a 757.
That one, yep.
Steve Blaines gives it says Queasy Jet, 3 out of 10. You didn't lose to this one as well, did you, Steve? Just put that out there. Ian with the late one there saying a 2 out of 10. Right. Hopefully, we'll be on the sort of up now with livery ratings. It's always a tough crowd when I do this. I always think, I'm going to be in for a nice show, and then everyone's just savage as anything. But yeah, so we're going to go for, and I'll put this out there for the football fans among us. One of the favourites for the World Cup, Aerolíneas Argentinas, of course, an Argentinian airline. I do quite like this. Definitely. You can tell it's very Argentinian, but why did you pick it?
I've only ever seen one of these, and it was the COP26. And again, I don't think the photograph does it particularly justice. I think the blue is slightly darker than that when you actually see it. But on an A330, it's one of the best. I'll go as far as saying it's probably the best looking A330 I've seen. It's absolutely tremendous. It just looks right. It looks right, and it looks Argentinian, and I don't think there's any argument about it. It's just it does exactly what it says in the tin. If they want a better phrase, it's absolutely, it just works.
It's one of the few liveries that it's better than the old one. Yeah, the old one they had like a darker blue, like a navy blue sort of tail, navy blue engines, and a grey underbelly. This is a massive upgrade.
Definitely, it looks lovely.
It looks great on the 330. It looks great on the 737s, and even the the A340s when they were in service still wore this livery as well. And it looked great on that. It's one of those very rare liveries that looks nice on anything as well. A bit like the Landor livery, and there's a few others out there as well. There's not really anything bad that I can say about it because like I say, it's a nice shade of blue as well, which is a rare sort of blue to see, very like KLM blue sort of thing.
And it does, when you actually see it up close, it's lovely. This is one I was going to make a point of catching in at COP26. This would have been it. This would have been it. This is the one to catch. This was, it's lovely. It is really nice. It is really, really nice. I like this one.
And I think it went to Manchester as well after it arrived, didn't it? Dropped off I can't remember who it was.
President or whoever it was, dropped off the guy, went to Manchester, parked up for 2 or 3 days, came back, picked him up, and then went back to Argentina or wherever it was going. So, yeah, really good.
Yeah, it is nice. It is very, very nice. Hopefully, this should do well. If you fingers crossed it does anyway. Have a quick think about what you'll give it in terms of a rating. We'll go through what people think of it. Steve Plains, it's no Aero Mexico, nice but massive KLM vibes. I can see, I can see that. Jack Rolls says, now that's a stunning livery. More like this, please. I may have to do the Argentine tango to this plane. Oh God, please don't. I mean, please don't do it. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd says, not the best, not the worst, but I dislike it more than I like it. Basic and does not suit the aircraft. Well, that is controversial. Super controversial. Don't know.
I like it. I do like it.
I disagree with that. I think it's very smart. Jim Gemmell, go on.
Simple but effective.
Simple but effective. Yeah, simple but effective. It's pretty much the best way of putting it. It's just simple but effective. Alison says, I do like that. Only issue is the blue will fade in time and might date. Nearly as good looking as our 330s. I'm sensing a little bit of bias there. But no, it is very nice. Michael Painter says, very stylish, love the livery. He's immediately giving it a 10. Wayne Hartshawn says, best livery of the night. Very Be a Better World livery-esque.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, okay. I can see that too.
Yep.
Yeah, lots of people loving it. I think people are loving it, apart from Samuel Taylor Ackroyd, a.k.a. Jose, a.k.a. Carlos. There are reasons. So before we go through what people have put in the chat in terms of their ratings, Rob, what do you give this one?
This one's a strong 9. 9 out of 10.
9. I think that's a good shout.
Strong 9.
Yeah, I can't go any lower than that. I probably wouldn't go 10, but I think 9 is very, very solid indeed. Michael Painter, we know, has given a 10. 7 out of 10 from Wayne Hart. Sean Lynn Keeble, like this, like the blue on the engine, 7 out of 10. Carl Crawford, massive fan of this. What a beautiful livery. Looks totally fitting for the aircraft. A solid 10 out of 10. MaxJet TV Live gives it a 7 out of an A330. Okay. Jim Gemmell, 9 out of 10, I should say. So a solid 9 out of 10 on that one. Steve, I'm not going to do it in the way Steve Plains probably wants me to do it, but I'm not doing it. He says, Arriba, 7 out of 10. Jack Rolls, solid 9 out of 10. And Craig Revel Hallwood would love it. Well, he wouldn't love your tango, mate. That's all I'm saying. And Alison jumping in there with a 7 out of 10 plus 2 for being a 330. So 330 bias there. Who doesn't love a 330?
Oh,
it's a lovely aircraft.
Yep.
Right, last one for now, which I think might, it should do all right. And I know if Ian is still lurking around, he will enjoy this one too. So this will go down quite well. Air Baltic, in what is now their old livery, middle livery, something like that. It's the livery, the new livery they've got now is very Qantas-esque with the tail color going down the fuselage and stuff like that. But yeah, Air Baltic's very neon. It's like a green, like a lime green, neon yellow type thing, sort of color. I like Air Baltic. I like them a lot, and I really want to fly them as well. What made you pick this one?
I've only just recently seen the A220 in this at Edinburgh, and I made a point of going to see this actually, because as I say, I hadn't seen this livery before. I was hoping for one of the special liveries, but this is what I got. But Euro White I usually don't like, but Air Baltic, just the simplicity of it, and it's just, if it's going to be done, they've done it right. And as I say, just everything's in the right place where it should be. And on the A220, it looks the part, definitely looks the part. It's no pretentious or anything like that. It's no glossy or it's just simple and effective. And I think it works. It just works. I quite like their special liveries as well, the flag ones as well. But this just works. This just works.
I say every time that I've been to Heathrow and they've been leased by Eurowings, I've never been able to catch one, which is it's always been Eurowings aircraft, despite the fact they've got these ones. And then when I've not been there, they've always come in. And now they're operating for Swiss as well. So again, it's the same situation as I see it on Flight Radar. It's operating for Swiss. It comes in, thinking, great, okay, cool. I'm going to catch my first Air Baltic aircraft, and it turns out to be a Swiss A220 than an Air Baltic one. So I will get one, even if it means going to Gatwick, because that's where they actually do operate into. I will actually grab one at some stage, but I do like it. I do like it a lot.
And the A220 is tremendous as well. It's a cracking aircraft.
It's a stunning aircraft. It's one of my favourites in terms of regional planes. It's
coming good. I think it's definitely had a slow start, a slow burner to start with, but it's getting going now, and it's really
absolutely, especially considering Air Baltic flight from Riga in Latvia to Abu Dhabi as well. It's a good 5-6 hour flight, and they fly this, and it's very capable of doing it. So just makes me wonder in the future whether we'll see a British Airways one at London City doing it to New York, maybe.
Transatlantic, definitely, I think.
Yes. I know there was talk before, and it is very much a rumour. American airline Breeze were looking to go transatlantic with theirs.
Right.
I think it was to, where was it to? Manchester, I think it was.
Yep. Definitely, this could be something... Manchester. Even something like WestJet from someone in Canada, like into someone like Glasgow or Edinburgh or Manchester across Atlantic, something like that might be a possibility. It's, it definitely works.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me in the future if we saw these doing little transatlantic, business type routes sort of thing. But as you say, a slow burner. But now Airbus are looking after it. It's definitely gathering a lot of pace, and it's. I think Air Baltic are the biggest operators. I think so, yep. Possibly. Somebody may correct me.
Delta, maybe?
Yeah, there's about, I want to say they've got close to 30 in the fleet, which I think is even more than Swiss, possibly.
See, I think Delta know by a load. Does that know kicked off the whole Trump with the taxis and stuff?
Delta have got a few at the moment.
Yeah.
Air Canada have joined the ranks, and I think Air Baltic are the top ones there. Michael Painter just rubbing it in my face, saying there was a couple a day at Heathrow in the summer. Yeah, I know there was. They weren't showing up when I was there, though. Buggers. But it's a good way to end sort of that section anyway. But it's a lovely aircraft. So just have a quick think, and we'll see what people think. Jim Gemmell says it forgot to take its high vis off. Of course, you associate that color with high vis jackets. Jack Rolls, I love this. I would bolt to any airport to get it. Well, your black box says differently on your car. Maxjet TV Live pointing out the same thing as what I've mentioned about them operating for Swiss now. Ian Hartley loves Air Baltic, as we said. Strong 9 out of 10 already. Lots of people liking it. Some people not liking it, but like I say, down to preference at the end of the day. So, out of 10, Rob, the Air Baltic livery.
A solid 8, I think. Solid 8.
Solid 8 to end with.
Yep, I think so.
Very, solid. 8 out of 10 sounds good. Sounds good to me. It doesn't sound good to Wayne Hartshorn, who says boring, cold, modern livery, 5 out of 10. It's a tough crowd. Len Keeble, same thing. Really not sure about this one. 5 out of 10. However, going back in the right direction, Carl Crawford loving the colour, but I'd say 7 out of 10. Samuel Taylor Ackroyd with a 7 out of 10. Maxjet TV telling us all about how good his vision is. Michael Painter, 5 out of 10, colour a bit like S7, the Siberia Airlines. Yes.
Yeah.
That's another bold airline as well. It's another one that's been into had come into Heathrow quite a few times before the sanctions were in place. Steve Plains, it's not just cool, it's Baltic. That's 8 out of 10. Oh, very good. Alison, simple and effective, plus the 330 previous has put me in a happy place, 8 out of 10. Maybe we should get Alison on to rate a load of A330 liveries. I think that'd be quite cool. See if she's up for that. Jim Gemmell, 7 out of 10. Jack Rolls doing the Baltic side of it again, 10 out of 10. Such a Baltic livery. And Wayne Hartshawn laughing at my vision joke. Wonderful. Right. So where are we at now? We're at an hour and 21. I told you it'd fly by. Few sort of, in fact, no, let's do shout outs first before we go into like the chat afterwards. So as part of the show, we begin to wrap it up and we're doing some shout outs. So what it means, Alison, it says it sounds like fun. I'll get in touch. Yeah, so we're going to do some shout outs now. So for anybody that has any shout outs in the chat, get them in as we do ours. Of course, we shout out friends, family, loved ones, etc., just to show our appreciation. Rob, I'm going to put you on the spot and get you to do your shout outs. And like I said, anybody's got theirs, chuck it on in the chat and we'll put them on the screen as we do ours. Rob, off you go.
Well, first of all, just like to say thanks to you, Tom, for bring me on the show. Absolutely brilliant. Thanks very much for that. Much appreciated.
No worries.
Next, I'd like to say a big thanks to my good lady, my long-suffering lady wife, and my 2 kids that I get dragged along at the airport on occasion. They suffer my passion, so thanks very much to them. Everybody in the chat, I'd just like to say thanks to them as well, especially to young Sam. He was the one that kind of put me onto the channel in the first place, so big shout out to him for that. Again, another guy in the chat, Jim Gemmell. Just like to thank him. He's a kind of regular, so knows his stuff. Absolutely brilliant. So, and anybody else who knows me, if you ever see me, pop by and say hello, and don't forget, go along and subscribe to the channel. So, thanks again, guys. Much appreciated. So, I think that's just about me with that one.
Good stuff. And I've just realised that there are people putting shout outs. I'm not even showing them, so forgive me.
There's some asking for the 4/7 one there.
Yeah, there you go. I'll just literally, yeah. So I'll do some quick few shout outs to Rob, not only for coming on the show this evening, but of course for being a very loyal watcher to us. I think he's got a thing for doing this. I'm just going to read this one out. MaxJet TV Live Express, whose name hasn't gotten longer since the end of last week, says, right, I better leave. Thanks, Tom, and Rob, for a great show once again. But bring Ian, Hartley, and Steve back. No. Also, there's only one of me, not 4. I don't know where you're getting 4 from. So big thank you to Rob for coming on the show. Of course, like I said, not just for being the guest, but for watching us from way back in the early days, episode 5 or 6, you said, or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, so long way back. So a big thank you to you for not just, like I say, coming on, but the support that you've given the show throughout the year and a bit we've been doing it. Everybody in the chat for supplying us with good giggles and comments and questions and everything else. The show is literally, and I say it, probably say it every week, or probably will start saying it every week, but the show is not the same without people that watch it. So thank you very much to everybody there. And of course to the moderators as well that have showed up this evening and done a wonderful job keeping the chat in check. Of course, you don't really have to do that half the time. Maybe 1 or 2 people max, but yeah, it's all good. It's all good. Right, let's do a couple bits to kind of go through very, very briefly. One, and I've been thinking about this over the weekend, I am looking for somebody to help me out with the podcast, not as a co-host. I'm on about a video editor. Main reason for this is I want to start uploading highlights. So if people don't want to sit and watch the whole thing, people could, I want somebody to pick out the best bits of the show, put them into a small highlights package, and then we can upload it for people to kind of catch up on sort of the better bits of the show. So if anybody's interested in helping me out with doing that, please do get in touch with me on any of the social medias that are in the description below, which would be of great help to me because I just simply don't have the time to do it. So if anybody would like to help me, please get in touch. Secondly, no podcast next week for a very good reason. I have struggled mentally this week, and I need I need to mentally cough for a bit. So I'm going to take next week to kind of just refresh my brain and get my mind into a better state before I can sort of go ahead with another show. So we're not here next week for the show. But in its place, I will probably release a video. So I need everybody, whether it's through Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, wherever, because of the recent 2,000 subscriber, we hit 2,000. I want to do a Q&A. So in order to do a Q&A, and this is a recorded Q&A, I'm going to need questions from you guys. It can either be aviation related, or it can be about pretty much anything. Personal life, like literally, just submit as many questions as you like, and I will pick the best ones and put them into a video. That video can't happen unless I get questions, and I would like to kind of bring that out next week, for at least you guys have something to watch. So do consider doing that. All the best questions will get put into the video, and I will answer them personally. So hopefully you'll understand the fact that I need to take a little bit of a break to kind of get myself into a bit of a better place at the moment. So I don't think we had anything planned for next week either. So it's pretty much good timing. Also, I will work on some merch for Christmas as well. So we'll do some of that as well. Alison, question. If you didn't have a thumb, would the bottom half of your butty fall off? If you didn't have a thumb, it probably would do. Yes. Yeah, it probably would do.
I see Ian's asked that question as well there, so we'll give him an answer to that one just while we're on the whole food thing.
Yeah. I mean, depends how you hold it. You could literally hold it like that, I suppose. But then that's weird. So I don't know.
Alien, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know.
Ian's asking about chutney. So
yes, I did see that. So seeing as you're the one that normally asks it, we'll get you to maybe any recommendations.
Maybe a whiskey and ginger type chutney, something kind of warm and fuzzy for winter time. And it's like up in Scotland, it's pretty cold up here, so I don't know if you can maybe help me out with that one. So whiskey and ginger might be a good one. And just for the record, I don't like pineapple on a pizza either. James asks.
Magchat TV Live Express, Tom, your beard needs a shave, mate. You should probably try growing one first. Grow one first before criticizing mine. I also know it needs to kind of be trimmed a little bit, but it's fine. Yes, Jim Gemmell, literally, like he says, don't say pretty much anything. Dread to think what will get asked. Literally anything. Anything that's good will just go straight into the video. I will put tweets out about it and Instagram posts, etc., to kind of remind people about it. But I want to be able to get a Q&A out either Saturday or Sunday. So yes, please. Yeah, please ask me anything about anyone, or quite literally anything. It doesn't matter. Ian Hartley agrees. Whiskey and ginger sounds decent. I'm with you on the pineapple too. That's a crime. Let's not get into that because we'll be here pretty much all night. So there's some other little bits and bobs that will come as well. We've got plans in place for a charity stream. I don't know when we'll do that, but we are going to do that for the mental health charity Mind. Flight simulator. I haven't decided on routes and stuff. I will put that on social media once that's all sorted. And I think that for now, that's pretty much it. Unless I think of anything, then it will go on social media. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Again, hopefully you'll understand that I need to take a little bit of a break, so I won't be here next week, but we'll be back the week after, so December the 4th, I think that is. No, what is it? It's December the 1st. 1st of December. There you go, 1st of December. That's when we are... No, hold on a sec. It is the 4th. I'm looking at the wrong bloody month. There you go. 4th of December, we'll be back for another live show. So all that's left for us to do is to say our goodbyes. So, Rob, if you'd like to say goodbye to those that are still watching.
Well, just like once again, thank everybody in the chat. Absolutely brilliant again. Yourself, Tom, thanks very much. If I don't see MD or speak to MD, have a nice Christmas. I know it's coming up, not too far away. So all the best, folks. So thanks again, and we'll catch you later on.
No worries. Thank you very much, Rob. I did forget to do this, and I'll do this now. Jack Rolls asks me to show this picture of the Casa C295 from the Polish Air Force that went into Bournemouth yesterday. I don't remember. I think it was yesterday. So yes, there you go. Alison, I will be in touch in regards to possibly bringing you back on the show. But for now, I will see you guys in 2 weeks' time. I will be fine. I just need to have a little bit of a mental break at the minute, just to kind of, cough for a little bit, go away for a little bit and kind of just get myself better. So I'll see you guys in 2 weeks' time at 7:30 p.m. on December the 4th for another episode of the podcast. But for now, take care of yourselves. If you want to get in touch with me, you can on social media. If you want to chat, whatever, it's fine. I'm going to stop waffling on now. So take care. And for the record, don't be making noises with your model planes. You're not a child. Take care, everybody. See you soon.